And now it's time for the fastest growing sports show on the internet today, JD's Rockin' Sports.
And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to JD's Rockin' Sports on this Tuesday evening, beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona, iBetX.com studios. We are a week away from all the fun and excitement coming into the Valley. They're already coming into the Valley to start getting stuff set up. The PGA Tour is coming in. We have the TPC Scottsdale for the Waste Management Open, and then the that thing called the Super Bowl. That's coming into town too. So yeah, we got some stuff going on, man. We got some stuff going on. We will be the center of the sports universe for at least a week, and then the rest of the world will completely and totally forget that we even exist, other than the.
Oh, they'll catch back up to us, and we'll just be one other station out there.
Be known as the depths of hell once again. So, I am the host. I am JD. I'm tired. Had some bad news before the break. Before we started, found out after 10 years of living in the same residence, my lovely house got broken into today. So I guess somebody's throat I got to cut. But moving on, Brent, how you doing, buddy?
I'm surviving, JD. I'm hanging in there. Always good. Always good to be back in the seat.
You broke into my house, didn't you? It was you. They said some small girl. So I'm just witnesses said there was a small girl running around.
I was just looking for some loose change.
Yeah, she got some expensive stuff though.
Meth, lots of meth.
Yeah, well, apparently that's where all the stuff that she took. I don't know what else she took. My roommates are probably still at the house with the cops. I didn't find out. I found out about an hour ago. It was about an hour ago, right, Brett?
It was, yeah.
I got that call from the roomie. Yeah, how fun. Aaron, have you ever had your house broken into?
No, but I think somebody jumped over my fence and took my Xbox One box out of like my storage area.
It's just the box. Right?
Yeah, because I don't really have like a garage where I'm at now. So I think they saw the box. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to take it." Like I'd have an Xbox One out back.
Right.
Just sitting outside because there's no room for it.
Right. So that just irritates me. You know, it's like, dude, way up in my space.
This all go toward the reason why I feel that I need that the owner of the house, which I rent, needs to let me get a big ass dog. I need like a Turner and Hooch dog.
Yeah.
Like one of those you just looks at and you swear to God that it's just
you need the beast from the Sandlot.
Yeah.
Hercules.
I need like the dog from Ghostbusters. That's the type of dog I need watching my house.
I have 3 and an alarm, so.
Yeah. Well, we got an alarm. Apparently it wasn't turned on. So
good call.
All right then. But everything was locked. They apparently they jimmied their way into the back window.
I love a good Jimmy reference.
I bet you do. So if you're listening,
you stole my stuff.
If you stole my stuff,
I'm coming for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Call in first. Let's get that call in.
Like, hey, I'm right on the trail.
I'll keep you on the line as JD sneaks out of the studio.
This little shit is fast.
You got the hangout up today, so
you know what they say: you can't catch a crackhead. It's not happening.
Your neck, your back.
They got energy for days, and you'll never catch a crackhead.
Remember on Dave Chappelle's stand, he's like, "Yeah, crackhead, come out this way." Like, have you ever met that part? Well, I know Lance does. He knows exactly what I'm talking about, so I'm sure he's pocketly laughing.
They said that they kind of trashed my room. I'd asked my roommate, but he can't tell if anything was stolen. The TV's still there and stuff. And the only thing I could think of was I got this big ass flag that says "Kill them all and let God sort them out." They probably turned around and said, "Yeah, we should probably leave his shit alone."
Well, just to give you a little bit of props for how well you were handling stuff. Because I remember when you were on the phone, after you finally heard everything they took, and then you're like, Did they at least do my laundry?
Yeah.
It was like, tell me something good that came out of this.
So
they at least
dirty laundry and leave the clean ones. I mean, it was because apparently they went into my walk-in closet, and I usually have my I guess what you call a hamper there, my laundry basket right there. So, but my roommate did say that it looks like my room was in disarray. So I'll go ahead and say that it wasn't like that before. So I usually keep a tidy room. So.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about that. So hopefully everything turns out okay, or at least
They,
you get
they
some.
didn't find my stash though. I know they didn't. I do have a stash.
Of
It could
cash.
be in the walls. It could be, mattress. It could be whatever. But I do have a stash. And as long as he said that something wasn't disturbed, then I know that they didn't get to the stash.
Good.
So they're not very good at their job, basically. I would not give this guy a reference or this girl a reference. Moving on. I remember the last time we were all in here, Joel was talking about how close the Cardinals were to signing Matt Scherzer.
Yeah, he was pretty banking on that, and actually, from what it kind of made, the way he was going about it, it kind of made sense. He is actually, I believe he's from St. Louis originally.
Okay.
Because of his daddy.
Well, I'm guessing his dad probably had a big part of him being born. So I mean, that might be safe to say. But if you think about it, though, why leave? Why leave Detroit? They were about to extend an offer with Price, but in March, the Tigers offered him, I think it was 7 years, $144 million, and this was back in March, so he was like, nope, like last March, because they knew he was going to be a free agent, so they wanted to lock him up. So he took the longest of almost all big free agents. He was the last big free agent to be signed.
Yeah,
and he didn't do too shabby for himself.
This is his contract for like 15 years or something.
At least for this first one, I think it's a 5-year, but he's banking in at $210 million with a $50 million signing bonus.
No, it's great though. It's deferred, so he gets paid like $14 million for the next 14 years or something like that. So even though after he
basically, instead of taking the lottery won some, he's taking so much per month.
Payout. Yeah,
very nice.
He went even ahead and moved his specifically because of what the signing bonus and everything. Like he's relocating his house to Florida because there would have been an issue with the signing bonus had he stayed where he was. So it was kind of interesting how they were bringing that up. But the Nationals had last season the best stats in terms of like ERA. They had the lowest ERA at like 3.2. They led the all of baseball with I think it was something like 400, and actually I may still even have my last article up here. Yeah, they a 3.02 ERA. I know it sounds kind of a lot with 495 earned runs given up, but every other team was in the 500s. Mm-hmm. So as a team, they only gave up 495 home runs and they only walked 352. I know that may sound like a lot, but most of their teams were up in in the low 400s. So what's the team with the best pitching staff go and do over the offseason? They lock up the best free agent. And this is going to be interesting. Again, if everyone stays healthy, the Nationals next year would have a starting lineup that would consist of Scherzer, Strasburg, Jordan Zimmerman, who will be a free agent after this upcoming season.
And I heard they might move him too.
Well, to lock up or to free up some space on the money.
Right.
Yeah. Doug Fister, Gio Gonzalez, and Tanner Roark, which were both teammates of his at one time on the Tigers. So with that type of rotation, if everyone stays healthy, that's pretty nasty. And that's actually why I titled the article National Security on the Capitol's Hill. Because if you got that kind of starting rotation over there in Washington, they were a pretty decent team last year. They were amazing last year. Mm-hmm. And pitching wins championships. So that's it. That's a pretty if you're a Nationals fan right now, you got to be pretty happy with kind of what they're doing.
Yeah, I can't wait to cover them this year.
Well, I mean, we always talk about that 1-2 punch. Well, they kind of have like that 1-2 and then that 3 punch already there. So they probably have the best starting pitching in baseball right now.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. With Scherzer.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to be fun to see. And for all of us, I mean, when the Nationals do come to come play the D-backs, we get to see Scherzer again in the National League. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks bad for the D-backs too because they moved him. You're talking about scouts getting fired on Saturday. I hope the guy who said we should let him go is no longer employed.
That when he was out here, he played only 2 seasons out here, but I actually got to see it, I think about 4 or 5 times pitch. And like the first or second time, I was just like, who is this kid? Because he was just throwing gas and was like effectively wild. Like that first season I saw him. And then when he came back the second year, I was even more impressed. I'm like, this kid's definitely got some talent. I like his work ethic out there on the mound. and I just started getting really, really interested in him, and then boom, set him off. So yeah, I'd like to be the one guy, but like, you know what, we should probably get rid of this guy. I don't see him being much of a help to us or something. Yeah, hopefully that guy's pulling splinters out.
Yeah, well, they were going to try and move him to the bullpen here, and then they, traded him out. So it's kind of a dumb move. Now you got a terrible pitching staff.
We'll look on the flip side of that. I think even Detroit should have moved Verlander into the pen, and then you use Price and Scherzer as your number one, number two. But
I don't think people are taking that Verlander contract right now, though. It's a lot of money.
No, that's why you keep him in Detroit and move Verlander into the bullpen. Have him as your closer.
Oh, I thought you were saying move, like trade him.
Oh, no. Just get him out of the rotation, because then you could have Price and Scherzer as your 1-2, and then work on rebuilding the rest of your starting rotation. But obviously, that's clearly above my pay grade.
Well, the other problem too is that division's really good. You got the Royals in there, obviously, your World Series participants. The Indians are their young talents coming up. So they actually came on strong at the end of last year. So they're going to be good. And then the White Sox somehow are always competitive too. So you've got a really tough division there.
Well, and the White Sox have made some moves too. They brought in Samardzija to try and help out that pitching rotation. I'm not fully sold on Samardzija. I think he's a good talent. I don't think he's someone that you bring in all of a sudden. It's like, hey guys, we just got Samardzija. In Major League, we just signed Jack Parkman. It's nothing like that. He's you already know what you're gonna get from the guy. He's gonna give you his heart.
But more importantly, how is his shimmy?
It drives a woman in Cleveland crazy, from what I hear. I used to hate him when he was with the A's. It's amazing how a new uniform can change your attitude about a guy.
Yeah.
I totally off topic. I love that movie, and I love his attitude when the guy interviews him in the parking lot. He's like, "I'm the only one that's worth a damn on this team." I wish somebody would say that.
Like, I'm the only one that gives. Yeah, I'm the one that's good here, either by choice or by birth. And then he flicks his cigarette out. But yeah, so and it's going to be interesting to you're going to have to stay healthy. The worst thing that I could think of is for that rotation to have one of them be gone the entire year, and even though that. Obviously, we're my Dodgers are competing for the National League. I would just actually really hate to see something like that, tear down that, because that team could just blow through. And this would be Williams' second year with the team. They're giving him all sorts of tools. So I think I didn't write it in my article, but I think they had mentioned the day before Scherzer signed, like their odds were to win were fairly decent. After he signed, those odds just went like straight through the roof. So I know everyone's putting money on the Cubbies, but now I think people are probably putting money on the Nationals, and it's you go out and get the best free agent in the offseason. So clearly Scherzer's got his hands full.
Well, the only thing with that is I don't still fully trust Scherzer.
In what sense?
In that he's not going to get hurt at some point or have to miss some games. I fear they sort of Dusty Browned him, and just burn out his arm too young, or played it too safe with his arm too young. Mm-hmm. So that concerns me, and just see if, at the end of the year, is he going to really be there? I'm not sure. So that would be something that I'm taking a wait and see on.
Yeah, I mean,
and then if they move Zimmerman
contracts, dude.
then
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean. The MLB union is the strongest there is, right? So the owners really have to just ride them out, and they're going to have to strike, and they're going to have to miss a lot of time, but that's the only way it's going to get fixed.
Yeah.
Because baseball contracts are atrocious.
Yeah, they are.
That's why you had Kevin Brown getting paid for like a long time after.
$127 million when he signed it with the Dodgers after he had that decent year with, was it the Padres? The Dodgers go ahead and sign him, and he basically just collected a paycheck while he was pulling splinters out of his ass.
Yep, he punched a water cooler in New York, broke his hand, and he still got a check for like 3 more years.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, speaking of baseball, there is talk right now of them trying to shorten the breaks in between innings. Now, everyone always has a conversation that baseball's too long, it's too slow. These games are getting, in excess of 3 hours. Well, with all the calls and replays in football's getting longer too.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good. I mean,
yeah, but it's a little different because you could stop in between each play.
In baseball,
you don't have that. Technically, it's going on and on. You don't have a clock.
No, I think it's the only. I mean, I don't even know if curling has a shot clock or whatever, but it's one of the few professional major sports where you're not timed.
there's a clock, but there's not a real clock. I mean, a pitcher's supposed to stay within like so many seconds of his delivery to the plate, get the
Right.
ball back, going through whatever he does.
Or
and
if
then
there's a
get the ball
mound
back.
meeting, an umpire will go out there and break it up
Yeah.
after about 15 seconds.
But other than that, you're right, man. There is no clock.
But theoretically, I don't know how many times I'm like, dude, I got to take a leak. And then it ends up being like a 40, 50 pitch inning. And you're like, geez, I'm just waiting. Because, when you get up, that's when they're going to hit a home run or they're going to hit a double. And it's like, at least in football, you get a little break every play or every couple downs. So you can get up, go grab a snack. And I think that's better for what people are trying to do nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying what they're going to be trying to do is just cut the time between it. There has to be commercials. There has to be, and you're not going to get away from that aspect of the advertising part of the game. But what they're trying to do is slowly decrease the amount of time that pitchers have between the commercial breaks from when that's over. So they're saying they're trying to clean it up and have an estimate of between 10 to 15 minutes shaved off every game.
Mm.
That may not sound like a whole lot, but I think what they're trying to do is at least be able to say that their games are not going over 3 hours. Because 10 to 15 minutes may make a difference if you're trying to leave and get out of traffic. But everyone's just complaining, well, these games are now getting in excess of 3 hours. So even just by 10 or 15 minutes, that's not a lot, but it will bring a game below 3.
Well, and I know they had the pitch shot clock or whatever they're calling it in the spring ball here. And my buddy, huge baseball fan, he went to a bunch of the games and he said he didn't really notice it, but the games were shorter. But they're always shorter in spring ball anyway.
Yeah.
There's just not as much scoring. So I think if you can implement that at a AAA level and it works, I think that's something you need to bring up.
They are going to be implementing it in minor leagues this year. And they said that, and this one I actually got from ESPN.com, but they are going to be implementing it in the minor leagues. And they're going to study and test the effectiveness of the pitch quality and everything, because most pitchers have their rhythm, certain thing, and that's how they go. If you speed that up, they're going to try and see if it actually decreases the effectiveness of like the pitching, but it will not be implemented in the majors. They're going to test it in the minors to see how it works.
Well, and that's just it. If you went straight to the pros, you got a lot of pitchers who have a routine and a thing. Same with batters.
Right.
The famous example is your boy, Mr. Strap his gloves, unstrap his gloves. Every step in and out. So
yeah, but he did that pretty quick, though. I mean, it only took him like 5 seconds.
Well, and that's the thing is,
yeah, it probably took you and me 10.
Is with that same pitch count rule, the batter can't step out of the box. They can like step to the corner, but they've got to stay in the box the whole time or it's a ball. So it makes both of them get out of their routine. But I think if you put it in the minors and let it be there for a couple of years, those kids are going to adapt, and then you move it up, and then it's not a big change.
I've never actually been to a game that said, wow, that was a really long game, except for the 19-inning one that the D-backs did that I was lucky to cover.
Yeah.
But
see, that's a difference. So that's a 19-inning game.
Yeah, but other than that, I've enjoyed every D-backs game I've been to.
Well,
plus, it gives me an opportunity to get up and get a free hot dog.
And the D-backs are good about it, and the NL is good about it. The D-backs are one of the shortest, 220, which is perfect. That's fine. That's what I want. And you and I talked about it in the summer, is the Yankees Red Sox games that are 4 hours plus. Look, I love the Yankees, but I don't have 4 hours to watch a baseball game, especially 3 days in a row.
Yeah, that's true.
If you can get it down to 220, I can probably watch that.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
So,
well, it's not going to happen anyway, because they've got the addition with the DH, which means that there's more hits.
And I expect more, but you maybe 240.
If they can do it about 3 hours,
240,
I'm fine. If they keep it under 3 hours, I'm fine.
Yeah, that would be a huge change.
Yeah,
because the Yankees Red Sox are always on ESPN.
Well, that's because there's so many moves. There's so many chess moves in a Yankees Red Sox game. Okay, he's going to bring this guy in. I'm going to bring this guy in to hit, and then he's going to go ahead and he's going to throw like 3 pitches, and you're going to pull him, and then he's going to bring this guy in because I got this guy on.
You don't see a lot of that anymore, though.
Yeah,
the one pitch specialist. You don't really see that a lot anymore.
Yeah,
there's some old school managers.
It did seem like that was more like in the '90s, mid '90s, and like what Joe Torre used it religiously through his bullpen to get to Rivera when they were having those runs to the season.
Yeah.
Torrey was notorious for doing that, and also blamed for not going to that one pitch specialist and riding with his other pitchers. So we saw that a little more. I think, just from my recollection, we saw that more in the mid to later 90s.
Well, and I'm okay with the pitching change. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the time between the look in, the step off. step out of the box, step in, step out, and it's just okay. Well, now it's been 5 minutes and you haven't even thrown a pitch.
Well, okay, no, I know I do agree with you on that from a hitter's perspective, but as a pitcher, as a pitcher, you want that rhythm. As a batter, it's no different than calling timeout in the basketball game when the other team is running the court. You want them out of that rhythm. So I'll step in the box and after a pitch, call time or pretend something got in my eye because I want him sitting out there now having to think about, hey, this is taking too long.
You got beat a lot, didn't you?
Well, plus because I crowded the plate. I was like, you're not gonna push me back and increase the size of that plate by 3 to 4 inches. I crowded the plate, and if they threw something inside, I was either wearing it or I was pulling it down the line, letting that third base coach know, yeah, that was my pitch. But as a pitcher, when I see that, when they're stepping out, oh God, if I have a lead or if the game's completely over, bing, I'm going to beat you.
Or just throw it. Just throw the pitch.
Well,
because that's the thing now is if you move towards with these rules, just throw the pitch. If the guy steps out and you throw the pitch, it's going to be a strike. If he steps, well, the only way that if you're in your windup and he steps out.
Exactly, I have to be my windup. But if he is out of the batter's box and sitting there looking at the girl in left field that I can only look at when I get to walk back to the mound, yeah, you're going to mess up my rhythm. I'm going to hit you. Or I'm just going to throw it. I'll just throw it just clear behind you.
Well, you were talking earlier about Scherzer not taking the deal, and that was a big gamble because look at a guy like Brandon Webb just coming full circle here who did the same thing and blew his shoulder out and didn't get his money. But I love the way he pitched because he was a low ball pitcher. He got a lot of hits, infield pitcher. You got this second baseman throw him out, but he would move fast. It was quick, and I like that style of pitcher that pitches to contact, ground ball pitcher, keep it moving. That's what I'd want to see more. So if it's out on the mound, you're going to step out. I'm going to be winding up before he could step out.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Webb's he is a good example because he's actually one of the ones that does come to mind. But batters hate that because they kind of like to sit there and get dig in a little bit, get their familiarity with your wind up to see what you're doing different. If you're constantly on the ball pitching quick, you don't give the batter the time to sit on his wallet to look at how you tip the pitches or how you're going about it. So it should be interesting to see how this does play in the minors and see if it gets attention or if it comes up to the majors or if it does.
Yeah, I know it was in the IBL, something like that last year and seemed to work well. So I'm curious if they can move it to a AAA level and see how it plays out in that style of play.
Yeah, should be interesting. And I know a lot of people are saying shorten the game. So maybe this might appeal to some others who haven't completely gotten rid of baseball, but are thinking this might be a step in the right direction.
And 155 games a year.
It should be 190. It should be just 200.
No,
it should just make it year round.
It needs to be 140 or 150, and you need to have double headers.
This is a family show. Don't be talking like that. If anything, baseball needs to be extended. Help us out during the winter seasons.
You're out of your mind.
I love the game.
Let me ask you this, man. Tim Wakefield, Hall of Famer.
He has close to 300 wins, doesn't he?
No, he's got 200 exactly.
But I also think I'll have to probably check it. I also think though, if you have it, I don't know. Do you have his numbers up?
Yeah, I do.
Did he also pitched relief though as well though?
He did for a little bit.
I don't think he was ever. He may have a couple saves. I don't know if he was ever.
Does he have? Or
probably like maybe 10.
How many holds does he have?
He has 22 saves. He's got 3,152 holds.
Yeah, a lot of holds.
Well,
I think he was a seventh inning guy, like you're saying, or an eighth inning guy.
He threw over 3,200 innings.
He's got an ERA under 4.
His ERA 4.41. 19 years though.
I don't think he's getting in with that ERA.
Okay, well, hang on. I know he did play with a couple different teams in various sittings.
Pittsburgh.
He got a ring though with the Red Sox, didn't he?
He got 2. He got 3 rings.
Didn't he play for the Orioles too, or something?
No, not Wakefield. No.
2004, 2007, 2011.
Wow, so he's got 3 rings.
He's got 3 rings.
I think his ERA is too high though.
But he's a knuckleballer. He's not a hard thrower.
Right.
Yeah, I think the fact that he spent 19 years as a knuckleballer.
Well, Charlie Huff did it.
I think if he was just under 4, he was
Charlie Huff a Hall of Famer? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's look at Charlie Huff's numbers.
19. God,
19
and during the first and second part of the Red Sox, you said that was what 06?
07,
07. What was the other one?
2004, 2007, 2011.
That was during a pretty powerful power time of batters during that time. I know it was towards the later part of his career, but he went all through the 90s during the when the steroid ages were ripping up and everything like that. I'd say the fact that he could barely even break wind. I think in keeping under a 5 ERA as a knuckleballer, he played in the American League, he played in the National League. He's got 3 rings.
Yeah.
Maybe not at first ballot, and that probably wouldn't surprise me if it took him up to maybe his 5th or 6th.
I thought they only got 5.
All-Star, MVP.
No, they get 10, right?
They get 10 now for the ballot.
He did get Rookie of the Year, MVP.
I would say he would have to
And
go in
All-Star.
as a Red Sox, though.
How many
Obviously,
times
yeah.
is he an All-Star?
17, huh?
How many times is he an All-Star?
1.
Just one? Oh, yeah, that's right.
One
The
time.
last one.
No, 2 times. 2 times. No, 2009. 2009 was his second to last time.
I'd say no, only due to the ERA. If he was under 4, I'd say yes.
His average per year is 12 and 11, 4.41 ERA, 39 games per season. Oh,
But see, I mean,
shutouts.
I would think that with
He had 6 career shutouts.
you said he had over 250 wins,
200.
200 wins, 3,000 plus holds, 3 rings, 19.
How many times was he named the Rolaids Relief Man of the Year?
Probably a couple times.
And you know what? Probably no one else gets to brag about that. So that'll be asterisk on his name. I don't know. I think he has yeah, I do agree with you. And the ERA is up there. It's not where you'd want to have a star pitcher, but
That's what
longevity
would take me out is that ERA. If he was like 3.92, I would say absolutely.
career
He
was
averaged
clean.
6 strikeouts per 9 innings.
It was his name was never mentioned in any.
Yeah, because he only threw 58 miles an hour. Of course, he wasn't in a.
He threw a fastball at about 78.
72.
Yeah, and you saw his face cringe when he threw that fastball. He was like, God, I hope I don't do that again.
Did you guys watch the Next Knuckler on MLB?
No.
That like reality show where they were trying to teach guys
how to throw knuckleballs? I've seen it. Yeah,
I thought Flutie was going to win that for sure. It was actually pretty interesting.
well, he's one of the last known knuckleballers to come through the waves, and
Yeah, who else is out there other than the guy from the Mets?
Yeah.
Dylan G is the guy from the Mets. But
There's one other guy, I think, in the minors that throws it.
but the fact that he was able to make that long of a career during arguably one of the biggest hitting decades,
They
the
started in
90s.
92.
Yeah, I mean that's when you had Slam and Sammy and McGuire,
More
in their
importantly,
primes.
Where's the next eFIS ball thrower?
I don't care about that.
You could probably look at some stuff the D-backs have in their farm program.
Right.
Well, that's
You know?
because you can't throw it fast or over the plate. Just lob it over there. It's all right. Tough.
Anyway,
You'll catch
so
it.
it was just something that popped up.
So you're going to say
thinking-
yes or no?
First ballot, no, but I think
You think he'll
get
get there?
I think he'll get there.
I think so. He was just an
Because
overall good guy.
how many regular standard pitchers are there? There's very few that come across and then that stay like that their entire career.
Yeah, but I don't think people are going to say, well, he's a knuckleballer. We better put him in.
No, you don't put him because he's a knuckleballer. Not just strictly because of that, but what he was able to do, and the fact that he was able to spread that over 19. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't, but I think he could get in there. Definitely not a first rounder though.
No, for sure not a first
No.
rounder.
But
I think he can get in though.
3
I mean,
rings.
I'm just trying to think. Everybody always wants to talk about the people that are leading in home runs and leading in strikeouts and leading in this and that. And then you think about, obviously I'm thinking Red Sox, but you think about players like Jason Varitek and Tim Wakefield, and you got to think, I mean, they're in.
Like Varitek, arguably one of the worst hitting catchers in terms of average.
Yeah.
But he caught probably one of the best pitching rotations and probably some of the strongest Red Sox teams.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like the backbone of that team, even though he wasn't producing offensively.
He was the one who turned around the 2004 team. Not offensively, it's the fact that he picked up A-Rod and slammed him to the ground. When A-Rod said, let's go.
But during that time, when things were bad, they weren't turning to Ortiz. They were turning to Varitek to get things started.
Tech, man. It's the captain. You can go into Fenway Park today and you'll see his gold glove is still sitting there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Did they ever give him a job in the organization?
I think they offered, but he just, he likes
because
being
he
normal.
thought he was going to be a catcher still.
Yeah, I think he just likes being normal now. You know?
Well, Jake Taylor didn't take very well to being asked to be a coach when he thought he had another year in his tank. So,
Yeah, but Jake Taylor did a good job coaching that team.
and he beat out the bunt to win the World Series.
He did.
Or the Division Series. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Division Series. Yeah.
Taylor bunts.
Why don't we go ahead and take a break? We'll be back. More fun stuff on the way.
Would you like to own a thriving business and help employ local veterans? The Vetraplex Handyman Construction and Landscape business is the opportunity you've been waiting for. The Vetraplex is your gateway to an affordable startup business with 0% financing for qualifying owners. By owning a Vetraplex franchise, you will be hiring veterans, providing them both income and opportunity, while at the same time providing your customers a way to say, thank you for your service to our nation's veterans. For more information, visit vetraplex.org. Again, that's vetraplex.org or call 928-284-2022.
Breaker 19. How about that bandit? You got some ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training. They've got GI Bill approved training facilities, day, night, or weekend programs to fit your busy schedule. And if you have any questions, no sweat. They've got veteran supportive campuses with veterans on staff to serve you. And on top of that, they have lifetime job placement assistance. Put the pedal to the metal. Call Southwest Truck Driver Training today.
Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in your life. I'm no different. Hey everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
If you or someone you know is looking for a new job or career, you need to visit the pros. National Career Fairs at ncfairs.com. National Career Fairs hosts over 300 career fairs a year nationwide. The events are free and give you the perfect chance to meet some of the top employers in your area face-to-face. To find the nearest career fair to you, visit ncfairs.com. Again, that's ncfairs.com. What are you waiting for?
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to JD's Rockin' Sports on this beautiful Tuesday. It's actually a little chilly in the studio today. I don't know, man. Usually when I start feeling like that, it tells me that I'm going to start getting sick. And I don't like that because I'm about to take off. Because I'm leaving on a jet plane. Anybody just hung up? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you got bigger worries. You're leaving us in charge of the show next Saturday.
Absolutely.
So
I might have to call in just to see what the hell you guys are doing. Jesus. Yeah, I'm let you guys run the show. I'm not even going to tell you what you need to do.
Well, it's happened before and it turned out okay.
It did. You didn't burn down the building. That's a plus.
No, I didn't.
You tried.
I tried.
You tried. Moving on. Full cost of attendance passes at 79 votes to 1. First off, you guys want to know what one school voted against it?
Alabama.
Notre Dame.
Boston College.
I was closer.
Said you'll get nothing and like it. But
Well, they're not really known for their athletics.
Oh,
Flutie Flakes went there.
Man, ouch.
Threw a pretty important pass.
I mean, they've got other things like academics to worry about.
I mean, worry about.
Worry about, yeah.
Worry about.
Worry about.
Playoffs. Full cost of attendance passes on a 79-1 vote from the panel comprised of 15 student athletes and the 65 schools of the football-driven leagues. Boston College cast a lone dissenting vote, according to NCAA tabulations. Stipends, this is on ESPN.com, by the way, determined by institutions under federally created guidelines have been estimated at $2,000 to $4,000 annually. They are designed to cover the cost of living expenses that fall outside athletic scholarships. Other approved measures establish a concussion safety protocol and a discretionary student athlete assistance fund, allow for student athletes to borrow against potential future earnings to purchase loss of value insurance, and prevent schools from removing scholarships based on athletic performance. So if you suck, you can't get your scholarship taken away. But if you do, it's okay because you just purchased insurance for it.
Okay, but let me ask this for maybe some of our viewers or our listeners that are wondering. So if what you just said, if I'm hearing this right, only for those who are on scholarship, some sort of athletic scholarship, can purchase insurance to secure their place in school should this team say you suck.
Yeah.
But yet,
are you sure that's not for injury? Because generally
it says athletic performance. Loss of scholarship due to athletic performance. Those are the words it says. Athletic performance.
Yeah, but then to the student who is going to the games and supporting the team who is not on scholarship, he or she doesn't get their grades, they can be dismissed. Who are filling the stands to watch these people play, who are now protected.
No, agalas nada, pero te gusta. Hashtag you will get nothing and like it.
Okay.
That's, I was going to say, I really have nothing. That's pretty open and shut right there. Don't even give me a chance to rebuttal.
No, that's pretty much it. But I understand where you're coming from, man. Why all the special treatment to the student? But then again, they're bringing in the revenue. They're playing the revenue.
That's the other part of the argument you can't argue, though. They are bringing in the money.
That's why
there's Title IX, though. I mean, there's really only two revenue sports, football and basketball.
True.
Which have to cover girls basketball, cheerleading, volleyball, boys volleyball, girls volleyball,
swimming.
Golf, swimming, all these other sports. You know, generally you're not going to make money off female softball.
Here's the thing, though. Let's see where you're going with this. I like it. What's going to happen is when they have to pay this $2,000 to $4,000, they're going to have to take it from some pot, which means swimming is going to be out, which means
so some schools that they're less competitive sports are going to be
to be able to keep the athletes
let go or just drop down a division.
No, they'll close down their entire program.
Yeah, this happened before.
We're at.
It's happened in the past with these changes. As you see, a lot of schools where
they drop a program to be able to fund the more popular programs.
We'll just use Alabama as an example, but it doesn't happen. It didn't happen there. It's just for an example. They build a $360 million athletic training room just for the football players.
Right.
So that's got to come from somewhere, even though football makes money hand over fist. So you've got to say, okay, well, where can we get that budget? Well, wrestling doesn't draw a lot of people. So now we're going to take care of wrestling. It's no longer going to be a sport. Or they're going to more it to be like intramurals. If it's a sport that's popular still. I think the stipends is kind of silly. You're still going to hear guys complaining that it's not enough money because you're talking $4,000 or $5,000 a month.
A year.
Well, right now they get about $1,000 a month with their per diems when they're on the road, depending on the school, of course. But I mean, you're talking, I don't know, maybe $20,000 a year plus.
That's right. You're a finance guy, aren't you?
Yeah. Plus room
numbers,
plus room, board. I mean, not counting those things and textbooks, which a lot of them will go to get a class, take the class, never open the textbook, take it back, sell it for cash, and pocket the cash, which can be very lucrative depending on the textbook. But I think what you're going to see, they're still going to complain it's not enough. And then they're still going to cheat. It's going to be less, but there's still going to be people trying to get that money. They're thinking about the now.
Yeah. What about the students that borrow ahead from that money to buy insurance? that means they now have less money for food and
Yeah, but
stuff.
who's going to do that? It's not going to be your top athletes. It's not going to be your
But
Cam
still,
Newton,
they
your
still- I
Cam
mean, they still
Newtons who
have to
get
borrow
kicked out of
against it.
Florida for stealing computers and Xboxes because they're a top star and they know they're not going to get cut for athletic performance. They're going to get cut for trying to make an extra $20 on the side, selling their autograph, selling computers, those kind of things. So I don't think it matters. I think what you need is an alternative option for players who don't want to go to school. And it goes like the NBA, they have their 19 rule. Well, you don't like it, you go to college, which most people do. But there was a case very recently, and I forget the guy's name. He said, well, I'm not smart enough to go to college, so guess what? I'm going to go play in Europe for 2 years. He got paid. He got a lot of money for his family. He still got drafted fairly high, and he came back and made the big money in the NBA. So it happens. There's just not an alternative option for the NFL.
True.
So I think that's the thing is if there needs to be somewhere where these kids can go, and maybe it's the CFL.
I was just going to say, why not the CFL? I mean, how we heard when Matt Ware was on the show with us saying he actually thought it would be more advantageous for players to come right out of college, play a year or two in the CFL, learn that patience that Matt was talking about, and then move on to the NFL. So, I mean, again, that's not the answer to the problem right there, but you can still play football and get a paycheck.
I think if you had a team that was very much like the Baltimore Colts of the CFL, you remember whenever they moved, what was that, the 70s or the 80s?
I think it's like the early 70s maybe.
The CFL put a team in Baltimore. Was it in Baltimore? Yeah, in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And it was a CFL team because I think you might have some of these guys who might have trouble getting to Canada. If you have a past history of criminal, you got to get a work visa. Not to say they're all bad, but if you had a CFL team in Alabama, that CFL team would be loaded with talent of 19 to 20-year-old kids who don't want to go to school, who want to get a good-sized paycheck, who might want to make a decent living for 2-3 years and then jump to the NFL.
Yep.
I can see that. I mean,
so thing is, we should buy a CFL team and move it to Alabama.
How much does it cost? Like $50? We could do that.
Probably like 50 grand.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it.
You can make a lot of money in an Alabama CFL team.
Yeah, this is true, but I'm not moving to Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you just
nothing wrong with Alabama.
There's a lot wrong with Alabama, but you don't live there. You just pay somebody to run the team there.
Wow. You're good enough for the team, but we're not.
That's below my pay grade as the owner.
Oh, you're horrible. I just don't want to move anywhere in the Southeast. Sometimes the weather's great, but you got the whole thing about, every 2 days you're checking the weather to see what hurricanes are coming in.
I'm afraid of that thing where if you get in the stagnant water, there's those amoebas that eat your brain.
Oh, yeah.
That scares the hell out of me.
There is that.
That scares me to death, dude.
Brent doesn't deal well with the humidity, so there's no I can't move me anywhere with this where it's going to be.
Show is hot today, Mr. Brent.
Yeah, nice. All right, moving on. What's the next topic? What we got?
Real quick,
Okay.
boxing match Saturday. I watched the highlights because I don't have Showtime anymore. But
we have an American that is now
American
the heavyweight champion. There used to be a time where the heavyweight champion of the world was the most popular person.
Also, another very lucrative place. If you were a heavyweight, you could make a lot of money as a heavyweight boxer right now
in Alabama.
If you wanted to be.
Yeah.
But I like it. I'm glad. It was a good fight. It was kind of some weird.
Dude, he was just dropping bombs on this guy.
I thought it was going to be a knockout. Both
rocking
those guys
him left to right.
Well, both of those guys had great knockout reputations, and it went 12 rounds to decision. So
yeah, the guy that won, it was his first time going past like 4 rounds or something like that.
Oh, they were gassed at the end.
What about the UFC fight, man? With what's his name? The Irishman.
Gregor. Whew.
Dude, he was torn.
Conor McGregor?
Can he be
against
even more
Sider
of
or
a stereotype, though? He's very much an Irish stereotype.
Oh,
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
And then he jumps in and confronts Aldo, which I don't think is smart. I think Aldo will knock him the hell out.
Well, and then they show him in like the previews, and he's wearing like the hat and the freaking all the getup. I mean,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Aaron hates Irishmen.
It's just dumb. I just don't know why you'd want to promote the stereotype.
But what if that's really him?
I guess everybody that's part Irish loves him. I don't know.
They were loving him in Dublin, man.
He's huge in Japan.
Yeah.
Very big in
Benson
Sheboygan.
Henderson got robbed. What? One of our followers just hit me up, said Benson Henderson got robbed. Henderson actually lost his fight against Cerrone.
Maybe they robbed your house and his house.
Yeah, I doubt it.
You should have lived in Daniel Bryan's neighborhood and you would have tackled the guy.
Yeah, that's true. Well, if I was home, like I said, I would have stabbed her in the throat. So hey,
Stabbed him in the
look. All right?
I stabbed someone. I saw that.
I'll tell you
Rick.
straight up. All right, I don't have any more guns in my house. I'm very, very good with knives. If you're gonna break in while I'm there, you're gonna lose something, or you're gonna walk out with a limp. That's just the way it is.
You break in here, you're walking out with a limp.
I'll tell you straight up, man. I'm not going to shoot you, but a nice little ACL right there. You will be dragging one leg out.
I think I got 12 guns in my house.
I don't need a gun. If they have it, the way my room's set up, they got to make it up that stairway in order to get to my place. And I'm pretty good at throwing knives too, so they can come in if they want to. All right, moving on. Yeah, they won't be walking out, Alejandro. They'll either be limping out, or the coroner's going to be helping them out.
So what's next, Brent?
Oh, did you guys want to jump into the NFL at all, or?
Yeah, what's the thing? I mean, we can. I mean, it's just Super Bowl. I mean, really,
Not a big thing.
not really a big thing. Yeah, just whatever.
Well, I'm just glad I'm not watching the Coyotes game 5-1 at the end of 2.
I felt so bad for our boss, man. Adam Bird.
Oh,
Been to his house many times. I know he was just sitting there just falling apart as that game was going on.
yeah. I'll tell you this. For the first half, everything was looking nice, and I was telling Teresa, I'm like, your boys showed up to play, even though they had to kick the first 2 field goals. They couldn't get in the end zone from like the 1 yard line. But I was like, 16-0. I'm like, your boys are showing up. And then, God, second half, as we got a little closer, I was like, well, this ain't looking good. And especially when you had someone like didn't Wilson? He had like a 0 QBR in the first quarter, like a 12 in the second, went up to like 78 in the third, and then overtime he had like a 99 QB rating. Second QB in history to throw 4 picks in the conference final and still win.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the play call at all. That 4th down and 1 in the first. I mean, I don't know why you don't go for that.
You mean when when Green Bay kicked the field goal instead of
yeah.
oh, okay.
Because if you don't get it, they have to go 99 and a half yards.
Yeah.
So why not go for it in that instance? I know
Still
it's early, and you're kind of leaving the points there, but that was my thing. And then I just had a lot of questions with the play call. In the second half, in the third, and the early part of the fourth, there was a lot of 1 run, 2 pass, 3 and outs for the Packers. I mean, I know it's ultra conservative, but hand the ball off 3 times and punt. I mean, it's just dumb to give them that much time. You can shoot 2+ minutes off the clock if you hand it off 3 times and punt. You may or may not get it first. And the way Lacey was running early, why not? Why not try it?
He did look good early. He did.
Yeah, and then that was the other thing is what they would do is they would line up in a goal line formation when they were on their own 40. So, of course, they know they're going to run it up the middle, and they would start stuffing them. Switch to a power, switch to an I formation, maybe do something a little different. It just seemed silly in the play call, and then at the end they had to rush the passes to try and catch up. And I know everybody's going to blame Bostic, and yeah, the guy was a knucklehead. He shouldn't have jumped. It was his job to lay out the guy in front of him,
yeah,
and let Jordy Nelson catch it. But I think overall they were playing not to lose, which means you're not going to win.
Well, some of the announcers like, what was it? Was it that great of a comeback, or was it that big of a fallout?
Both.
I was like, yeah. I'm going. Fortunately, you have to go with both on that. I mean, you can't say like, well, it's both, but like, really, it was. Because the Seahawks didn't even I don't even think anybody showed up for the first, well, definitely the entire first quarter. And up until about 5 minutes into that second quarter, no one even showed up at all.
How do you not go after Richard Sherman when he's holding?
That was the other thing with the play call.
After he was injured, or he was clutching his arm.
He didn't use his arm. He didn't even reach his arm out to like do his usual hand checks or anything like that. He kept his arm in the whole
Well, and
time.
he has a sprain.
I know. So I mean, and then dislocated shoulder for what's his name?
I agree with
The other
you,
guy.
and I don't know how you missed that as a staff. Like, you've got a guy upstairs that's watching the TV feed or watching the video.
Yeah,
to
but it's
see
not
if
like he's that far away. The people from the sideline can see that he's freaking holding his arm.
I get Rogers maybe not seeing it because it was on his outside, and it might be tough to see the way he was lined up in coverage. But you have somebody upstairs, or your offensive coordinator goes, "Hey, he's wincing that shoulder. Go at him." And maybe you're thinking he's playing possum. You just throw something under and see how he tackles. It's real easy. You know, I think maybe they were outsmarting themselves saying, oh, he's faking. He's going to try and burn us. So we're not going to look that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't even throw one pass. That was just stupid.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, the onside kick, yeah, that played a big part of it, but there were so many other opportunities.
Like, well, also the fake punt, punt, the fake field goal that Seattle did.
Oh, yeah, that was nice. Special teams, most important part of the game.
I did, and I
obviously,
and I was not expecting that at all. I mean, of course, that's the point of a fake. You're not supposed to be expecting it, but that one completely. When I first looked up and saw the snap, next thing you know, I looked over and I saw the guy running. So I instantly I didn't see the holes. I thought it was a bad snap at first, and I was like, oh, how ironic. And that's when they were actually mentioned that it was a drawn up play, and I was like, well, you got to tip your hat to Carroll, even though I don't like the guy. You got to tip your hat to him. That was a great play or a great call.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was I think it was the interception with like 5 minutes left, and he just went down.
Yeah, he just laid down.
All he had to do was outrun Wilson and four fat ass linemen.
Well, and he could have just ran to the midway, and they kick another field goal.
Yeah,
and it's over. The game's over.
How do you go down with 5 minutes to go?
He was thinking it was over. The whole team thought it was over. The other one that bothered me was the 2-point conversion. That thing was up in the air for what, 3 minutes?
Oh, that was a duck and a half.
And Clinton Dix had made 2 great plays earlier. He had a beautiful pick.
Well, what happened was, and I'm going to defend him real quick, because you could see on the replay where he looked up too late, and by the time he saw it, he did like a little half jump, but he wasn't going to be able to reach it. So then he thought that he was going to tackle him out, and he didn't even get that done. So he was like stuck in the middle. He was like, jump block, tackle him, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so I mean he's turning around looking for a ball coming in straight. And it's coming in from 50 feet up, you know.
But even though obviously I wanted Green Bay to win, you got to tip your hat though to Wilson after having the kind of start that he had and clearly throwing 4 picks. 4 picks. And then in overtime, like that ball could not have been placed any better. It really couldn't, because the guy was I forget, was it Dix that was covering? No, it was Williams, I think. But he was wearing him as a jacket. He was all over him, and I think there was actually even contact before the ball even got to him. So big players make big plays when the game is on the line, and Wilson had about 4 quarters of not doing that, and then when it came down, he made the big play.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one good thing about him is he's able to put things behind him and, just move on with, and it doesn't bother him. Nothing happens, so I think that's great. That's why he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league is he doesn't matter. He can move on and not worry about it.
Right.
That's a big thing in a lot of sports. It's like, in some sports you need to have a short-term memory.
Yeah, especially pitchers and quarterbacks and goalies.
Yeah, so I had picked Green Bay. They lost, but when it came down to that last play, it seemed like from the late part of the 4th quarter on that Seattle wanted it more, even though they had a hard time proving it at the beginning of the game. But it's like, if it's like the same thing, if you don't want your team to celebrate and jump in your pool, don't let them beat you.
Well, and Baldwin was a typical Seahawk knucklehead and mouthed off after the game, talking about people giving him no respect. I don't know if the moron saw the line before the game, but they were 7.5-point favorites. It's not like a lot of people were thinking they were going to lose the game. So, and I get a lot of those guys play with a chip on their shoulder, but it just seems like that's how all of them are.
Yeah. What about the Patriots game?
You want to take a break before we go to the Patriots?
Oh, we still got like 4 minutes. You know what? Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back.
to win the game. In
Everyone's
overtime.
going to
A
need an
beautiful
attorney at some
pass,
point
a
in life.
beautiful catch.
I'm no
Was
different.
probably not
Hey,
one
everyone,
of
it's
the
James
top
from Vets On.
3 or 4
Whether it
plays
was
of
my
the game.
last will and testament
I mean,
before
it was-
deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
Breaker, 1-9. How about that bandit? You got some ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training.